Hey folks, a very good day to you all. I'm Shrinath Rao. I'm one of the lead QA engineers here at OpenObserve, and I'm here to give you a live demo of how we are using Claude Code to build an autonomous QA team within OpenObserve. I recently had a blog post published where I mentioned the whole Council of Subagents concept that we have gotten into OpenObserve and how it has helped us go from 380 to 700 test cases almost. And we got a really good response on it. So I would like to just share a small experience, rather a demo where I can explain how we're leveraging it. Let me put myself to the bottom right. That should be all right. So yeah, this is the blog that I'm talking about, where the main challenge that we had that was that in OpenObserve, we could not keep up with the speed in which our very qualified developers were pushing code day in and day out. We were having new features pushed at a very fast rate. And as we know that any feature that is not tested is a huge challenge. And keeping up had become a really big issue for QA. So the solution that we found was that we wanted to implement 8 agents, and all those 8 agents were connected with each other. There was a 6 phase pipeline that we implemented, starting from the orchestrator, moving on to the analysis phase with the analyst, then the planning phase with the architect, then the engineer, so on and so forth. I'll explain this to you in the form of a demo right now. To start with, I'll just show you that the OpenObserve instance that we have hosted locally. Right now, we don't have any data in the demo stream for the past 15 minutes. By the way, I'm assuming that you already know how observability platforms work. What is data ingestion? What are logs, metrics, and traces, all the telemetry types, and how to ingest data in OpenObserve. If not, there are lots of videos explaining the same. There's also documentation which will help you do that. There's also O2 CLI right now, which will help you do that in an easier way. So yeah, so what I'll do here is, as you can see, in my IDE here, I have the test subagents folder where I have the entire Council of Subagents resting under .claude or .claude folder. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to showcase a really easy and straightforward scenario for you so that you can understand how this works. So I'll invoke the orchestrator in the beginning and I'll say that, hey, I wanna automate scenarios around logs ingestion. Add the spec file to the demo folder under tests. Okay. Then ask questions if needed. So if I do this, the orchestrator subagent will kick in. Orchestrator, as the name suggests, is the one who will navigate all the other subagents here. And the clarification questions that it has asked right now is what kind of ingestion I want. I am going to go with an end-to-end flow. So I'm just going to say D for one. And demo folder location, I think it already exists. So yeah, create it. And then the third one, create it under playwright tests. That's about right. Test data source, you can use new data, use new realistic data. And finally, the scope of testing could be, let's say, a basic sanity test. And those are the inputs that I've given it. The orchestrator will now kick in. I'll just open the orchestrator to the side so that you know what exactly the orchestrator does. Step one is to understand if it's an enterprise feature or an OSS feature. And this is a very core open source feature that we have at OpenObserve, and that it has understood straight from the code itself. And there's a proper flow written in this markdown file as to how it can understand. It has moved on to the feature analysis phase, which is done by the analyst here. What the analyst does is it understands the feature that we are trying to implement. It goes through the existing test data. It goes through the Vue.js files, as you can see here. Vue.js is what we use for front end. It goes through all the Rust files for the back end. And then if there are any utility files already present, then it will note that here. Because we have a proper suite in place, it noted that there's a utility file present for data ingestion already. So it's going to be leveraging that, I believe. And yeah, coming back to the Markdown file while it does its job, I have clearly defined the role of this business analyst right here. It's going to think like a product manager or a business analyst. And yep, once the feature detection is done, it will list down all the UI elements for that particular feature. And it will give me a list of all the data test selectors that I need, as you will see very soon. There you go. In the next phase, there is the test planning phase where the architect comes into the picture. Just keep up with me because these things tend to get really fast. Yeah, there you go. The architect. The architect has written test cases around this. It has written the P0 test case in just logs via API and verifying the UI. And it's a core E2E flow. And it has written down the test steps for me. It has taken a realistic test data sample. And now the engineer will begin writing the tests for me. It is making the directory for me first. So an important thing to note here is that by writing separate markdown files and resting them under one folder, what we are essentially doing is we are keeping that's kind of the reason why we are calling it the Council of Subagents. Think of it like it's a discussion table, planning table, and these are different roles of the AI subagents that are talking to each other, that are validating each other's work. And as we speak, the test generator has written its test. The Sentinel has now kicked in, who does the code audit. And these are some checks that we have implemented for the code audit. And it found out that there's a method which exists, but it includes internal navigation. So there's a redundant navigation. And it also gave the fix itself. So I'm just going to say yes. A lot of what we do after the council has been established is just validating what the work is done. You can also set it to edit automatically mode once you trust your setup well enough, and once you have done enough iterations with it, you learn to trust it, and that's where you want to get essentially. These sub agents are extremely nuanced to the kind of project that you're building. You'll like you can get a reference of how to do it from these sub agents, but when you actually go ahead and implement it for your project, you need to make sure that these sub-agents are catered to the way your project or your team works. And that's kind of the only way to go ahead and implement it. There you go. It is now executing the end-to-end test, which it had written, it audited, and the healer also comes into the picture here. If this execution fails, then the healer will come into the picture and it'll check what the issue is and why this execution has failed. If it doesn't fail, no problem there. So yeah, there we go. It logged in. It is navigating to the default organization. The stream that we just ingested data to is going to be selected. And there you go. We can see the queries here, but can the code also see the queries? There you go. Healer's analysis says that the test logic is working correctly. All 5 logs were found. And it says that the failure is due to a flawed assertion. So the healer now is auto healing its own test script, and it's saying that the assertion that it originally coded was wrong, and it has made that change to the spec file. This is kind of a dream come true, and a developer's nightmare, for a tester's nightmare to fix most of the times, because some selector changes, some end-to-end flow changes, and we are stuck in the network tab trying to figure out what's going wrong. But if you have the right subagents and if you're able to leverage AI, then your productivity will really increase, because the grunt work is being done by the subagent itself. And you are at an architect level planning those things out. As you can see, the execution and healing step is complete. Now, for the final step, we have something called the scribe. The scribe will write the test cases, the manual test cases, by the way, which we need to upload in the platform that we're using that's called Test Dino. Please have a look at it as well. It's pretty cool. And it has its own MCP as well, like OpenObserve. And we'll just check the MCP health of Test Dino. Yes, the connection was successful. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to check if there are any manual test suites already present. And it says, yes, that's present. And yeah, there you go. It found a demo log ingestion sanity suite, which I had created already. It's going to create this test case in that suite. I am then going to navigate to the test dyno portal and show you how exactly we can see it. And this, by the way, is the final step of the Council of Subagents, where we have an automation test ready. We have the test audited, quality checked, executed, healed if there are failures, verified that it passes. Then finally, we have the scribe writing the test cases manually for us as well. And there you go. The test file is here, as you can see. This is the test file with proper JSDoc style comments. There are all the assertions that are needed. Then if I go to test dyno here and check this out, let me see which project it created it to. I'll just go to the OSS portal. I'll go to the test cases. And there you have it, the demo log ingestion sanity test. This is the one that we just created. And there you go. We have the proper test here. We have prerequisites. We have steps. We have created by. Everything that we need, we have right here. And all we had to do was trigger the subagent here. There is one more subagent that I would like to talk about. It's the test inspector. And what the test inspector does, it's not a pipeline subagent, it's an independent subagent. And what it does is it reviews any PR that we have raised and gives us a proper PR review, and it invokes the sentinel for the same. So one subagent calls the other one. That's where we are also reusing those subagents. It finds opportunities and enhancements. It tells us if there's already a test which is testing it in a repository. It tells us if there's missing coverage, stuff like that. And finally, it executes, consolidates the tests, and comments if there are any findings. So yeah, coming back to the OpenObserve application here, as you can see, I'll just refresh. I'll just go to that stream. I'll just run query. You see, this is the data that was ingested. And there you have it, the Council of Subagents working brilliantly for us. Please check out OpenObserve, check out the other YouTube videos, see how you can leverage this for your own projects, your own teams, for different use cases. And hit us up if you need any more demos or any more ideas on how to be thought leaders in AI, because we as a team strive to be AI first. Cheers.